This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to All Have Another podcast with Lindsay Hine. I'm your host, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining us today. So happy to have you. Today's episode is episode 370, and my guest is Robby Andrews. Robby is a 2016 Olympian in the 1500. He's also a USA champion. He won the 1500 meter USA Championship in 2017. He went to the University of Virginia and then went on to run with the New York, New Jersey Track Club. He's now coached by his University of Virginia coach, Jason Vigilante, and he is the fiance to none other than Josette Norris, one of our favorites here on the podcast. He is one of Josette's biggest cheerleaders, and honestly, you'll see in this interview, he gets so excited talking about what she's accomplished over these last couple years, and man, it's got to be really cool to have someone in your corner like that, and they have a really special, unique relationship because I know Josette leans into him and learns a lot from his experiences as well, so it's just really cool to hear both sides. Hear from Josette, hear from Robby, and he is just a super, super kind guy. I know you all are going to love getting to know him here just as much as I did. This episode of the podcast is supported by Koala Clip. Listen, if you aren't already using a Koala Clip for your phone or your keys or your ID when you're out for a run, this is the best way to carry your stuff on the go. You just tuck it on in to the back of your sports bra. It clips right in. It doesn't move around. I never found a product that didn't move around and bump around on the run, and this works. I've been using it for years now. It also is water resistant, so your phone doesn't get all sweaty or gross or damaged. And these Koala Clips are just super well made. They also have new gear, which I love. They have graphic tanks and tees. I actually got my sister this shirt. It says Grit, Grace, Gratitude. I got her that for Christmas this year, along with a Koala Clip, because you can never have too many. She already has a few. But I personally love their new sports bra. Every time it's clean, I wear it. It's the Ren sports bra. It's super comfortable. The material is amazing. It's an affordable price, $39. And it's got that razor back so you can just put your Koala Clip in it. Highly, highly recommend that sports bra. It is my favorite sports bra I wear. So go to koalaclip.com, use the code ANOTHER, and that will save you 10% off your order. That's koalaclip.com, use the code ANOTHER, and that'll save you 10% off your order. All right, friends, leave us a rating and review if you enjoy this podcast. We're doing monthly giveaways with Gooder, so for every new review on iTunes or Spotify, we put you into a drawing, and then we'll announce the winner every single month. So make sure you leave us a rating and review. Shoot me an email, lindsay@sandyboyproductions.com, or my assistant, emma@sandyboyproductions.com, and we will get you entered to win those Gooder shades. We are going to draw the March winner next week. On April 1st, we will announce the March winner. Cool. All right. Enjoy my conversation with Robby Andrews. All right. Well, today on All Have Another, we have Robby Andrews on the podcast. Welcome to the show, Robby.
Oh, Lindsay, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. What's going on? Are you in Charlottesville? You mentioned being home with Josette. Are you in New Jersey?
We are in lovely New Jersey right now. We both competed at the Millrose Games over the weekend, and Josette's running at the New Balance Grand Prix on Sunday, and I'm running at the Dr. Sanders meet on Saturday at the Armory. So we decided it makes sense to come see her mom for a week, and some of my family as well this week instead of flying back to Charlottesville. So yeah, we're here in Jersey.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so wait, where's the race coming up? It's this coming weekend?
Correct. So this Saturday I run at the Armory at the Columbia Challenge Dr. Sanders meet. I'll be in the mile. And then on Sunday, Josette runs at the New Balance Grand Prix in Ocean Breeze in Staten Island. And I'll be pacing the 3K there as well. But Josette's going to finish the race, hopefully.
Okay, so indoor track season, we've started that. Excited for races coming up as well. Talk to us a little bit about Millrose Games this past weekend.
So Milrose Games was a kind of a two-sided coin for us, or Josette and I speaking about. So my race, it didn't go exactly how I wanted it to. One of the collegiate runners, Adam Fogg, who just ran 3:56 the week before. He ended up taking a tumble 200 meters in, so very early in, and I was next to him because I wanted to key off of him because I knew he was in good shape. So I ended up getting pushed out, knocked around a little bit, and I didn't fall. Like Adam fell, he like was really scraped up. I didn't fall. I was just like really literally shaken up. Like I couldn't. I was before a race you go through all the scenarios, like, oh, it's going to be fast, it's going to be slow, it's going to be this, it's that. I forgot to say, oh, what if you fall? And
Right.
what if something like this happens? So I was really caught off guard, and I was really disappointed with how I responded to that. And then my response was to just kind of pack it in and not jog it in, but pretty much jog it in. And so I wish that I had a little bit more fighting spirit in me, but I've had some good talks with people who did run well this weekend. Josette, who ran 4:20 for the mile, getting second to American record holder Ellie Poirier. So
Dude.
that was really cool to watch.
Tell me about this a little bit. How are you balancing? I know that you've kind of like you've had your healthiest stretch of running in this past year that you've had in a really long time. 2016 Olympian. But like, how do you manage your emotions with, Josette, your fiance, is having this like massive massive couple years. And there's just like, her career is just really blooming. So how are you managing your emotions from, you've been doing this for a long time
Mm-hmm.
and celebrating like, woo, look what my fiance is doing.
Well, it's really cool. So I think Fast Woman tweeted something after the race, how Ellie ran amazing from the front and Josette got second in front of a slew of other Olympians who also ran more than fine. And Fast Woman said a year ago Josette would not have been invited to run this race, and that is
Wow.
100% true.
Wow.
But so it's amazing what, in Josette's case, 6 months, but like 12 months can really do to your career. And so I guess to answer your question, how I manage that is I was kind of Josette at one point. I was every time I touched the track, my spikes turned to gold, and it was like you could do no wrong. Every race you run, it's like how are you going to top what you did last time, and then somehow you top it. Like, how do you get third at Prefontaine and then go get third in the Diamond League final? It's like, oh my God. And I never did anything close to that. So like the level Josette's on right now is getting ranked 6th in the world, track and field news. It's like absolutely mind blowing to me, just because I know the state of women's running in general right now. It's amazing. Like in that final, she had the the world record holder in the mile with Safana San, and then she had Faith Kipyegon, who's arguably the best 1,500 meter runner ever. So like, and she's getting third place.
That's insane.
It's insane, and that's not. And Ellie wasn't even in that race, and the other American, like Helen Schlachterhoffen, was in there, and she was. It's amazing the state of the women's running in general right now, not just the 1,500, but the 800 up to the marathon. Kira D'Amato, Sarah Hall. I could go on forever, but so it's and actually we just got back from a workout at the Armory with Nikki Hiltz and Sam Murphy and Mac Fleet, and the paces that Josette was supposed to run today, she was Josette and Nikki were ahead of pace on most of them, and it's like, well, I was like, Josette, it's like, I don't know if you were necessarily fast. I just think that's the new pace you're running. Like it's
sure.
So you kind of have to be constantly changing your mindset about what fast is. Like fast isn't even fast anymore. It's just the paces don't mean anything. The paces are just paces.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, and it's something that I kind of struggled with as in the middle of my career, because my personal bests are kind of still from 2011 and 2012, which is it pains me to say that, but I came close to them later on, but still, it's I don't know if I ever totally wrapped my head around, yeah, you have to get faster if you want to run faster. But like, my second best time in the 15 came at the Olympic trials behind Matthew Centrowitz, where we closed really hard. So, I've been in shape like that, but for Josette to be in these races where they're actually running 420 or 355 or 346, whatever, it's really important for her to realize, like, you can do it. Just because you haven't done it yet, you doesn't mean you won't or you can't. So that's kind of the biggest message I always tell her is, like, you belong in there. Like, you can run with whoever you want to. And that's what she does.
Yeah, it was really cool. I watched her race on TV. What was it, Saturday? Yeah, right?
Saturday night.
Saturday,
yeah.
And she just gets so fierce. Like, you see it. I feel like I can read it on her face more than other athletes. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just see how much she's in it.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. She's a determined individual. Yeah. It is, she really wanted to win, and it's not that no one else didn't. It's just she's when she gets her claws into something, it's she gives it her all. She's such a fierce competitor, and everyone in that field is. But yeah, Josette, she's not afraid to wear her heart on her sleeve sometimes, and or her face, I guess.
Yeah, that's so good. So then, how do you manage? Like, you want to go do those things too. You want to make another Olympic team. And like you were saying, like, it pains you to say your best times were 2011, 2012, the Olympic trials when you were racing Matthew Centrowitz. But like, you're healthy again. So
yes,
that's something to celebrate, right?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And like, what next?
I mean, for me, it's funny. Josette's kind of like reinvigorated this career of mine. I mean, if honestly, if we weren't together, then at this point, I don't think I'd still be in running. It's
wow.
It wouldn't have worked out for me. Like, it wouldn't have made any sense. I for one, I couldn't run a lot of the last couple of years, like whether I wanted to or not. So then, like, how do I justify making that my priority when I can't even do it? But from what I see, in, like, not like a toot my own horn or anything, but like some of the advice that I give Josette or that I talk to her about, I watch her implement it, and it's worked a lot for her. And that's not to say that that's the only reason she's running well. I'm not saying that by any means, but I do feel like I have a lot of the tools to be a world-class runner. And a lot of it comes from your mind, and that's kind of been my biggest weakness. Now that I am healthy, I almost like forgot how to be a competitor, be an athlete again. And that's what I learned on Saturday. I just really have to fine tune my mind, and because Josette's mind is the strongest thing about her running, and it's nothing gets in her way. She doesn't care. She'd run up and down a brick wall if you told her to, or not even if you told her to. It's just that's what you're doing. It's like, okay, let's do it. But yeah, so just seeing her, what she can do and what her mind can do, it's helping me. It's inspiring me to get back there, because I know I can do it. I've been there, so it means I can do it again. It's just a little slower than I'd like. It's not quite the last 6 months or 12 months that Josette had, but one step at a time.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. It sounds like to me that you're having like a resurgence. Not that the love for running ever went away, but like your passion has been brought back out.
Totally.
I can imagine being injured on and off for so long, like it just being like, what's the point anymore? Like, what the am I doing?
Oh my God. It's like, when you go for a 20-minute jog and you have to stop because something hurts, you're like, is this really what I'm doing right now? So yeah, that really sucked. And that was really, really hard. And of course, Josette was on the bike with me when I was doing that. So like, it's amazing to have that kind of support and someone to literally hold your hand while you're doing it, and it was still really hard. It was still like, I really couldn't get anything going. And last summer and or more so last spring, like I was trying to get back into racing, and I just, it was just going through the motions. Like there was no emotion in it. I was like so just flat. Like there was no like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tear someone's face off in this race. It was just like, oh yeah, I guess I'll run because Josette's gonna go win the Drake relays. It's like, okay, I guess I'll run a Drake relays, and I love Drake, so like, yeah, why wouldn't I go? And then I run 3:47, getting my doors blown. It's like I'm not even in the race, but like I'm there. So it's taken me a long time to switch my mind a little bit, and having Josette just be able to do the same thing, but from Drake relays to Sunset Tour to Diamond League to Diamond League final. It's like she's doing what I want to do on like a way smaller scale. So if she can do it on the Diamond League scale, then I can do it on the U.S. domestic circuit scale.
Yeah. What do you think the pieces are to that puzzle, like to get your mind back sharp? You've had the sharp mind. You're an Olympian.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. don't forget that.
Don't forget
it. I think it's funny. Lately I've been going back and watching some old races, not even just of mine, but just like watching old races from like when I remember running as, not when I was sick, not when I was hurt, but like just watching some races and being like, yeah, like this is what it is, and this is what you have to get your mind to be ready to do. Because at this point, physically, I feel totally fit, totally fine. Nothing hurts when I wake up. Nothing hurts when I go to bed. It's like spikes, everything. It's fine. So physically, I know I can be a runner again. And now I need to get kind of let my mind catch up to my feet, because it's such a balancing act. Like what was holding me back before? Was it actually my body, or was it still my mind back then? Or it's like, I don't know. But so I'm trying to watch some old races and picture myself in those situations again, and put myself in a current day Robby who's dealt with whatever, but now I can do that again and try to get my mind right. So that's my big goal for this weekend. I'm going to run the mile at Dr. Sanders on Saturday at the Armory. So my goal is to just almost not care, just run, just race, just use my instincts again, instead of trying to micromanage each 100 meters of the race. It's like, I want to be here and there and then. It's like, shut up, just run. So that's my biggest goal, is to kind of get a little more instinctual and go with the flow a little bit, instead of so rigid. Like I've always been a loosey goosey guy, and I have no problem going out and last and just being like, yeah, you guys do whatever you want, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. And now it seems like if I'm in last, I'm like, oh my God, the race is over. What happened? So it's fun. It's so funny how people change, but I think I can get back to old Robby.
Yeah, it's almost like the blind ignorance of like what the pain's gonna be, or not knowing what other people are even capable of. It just like that. There's some like simple beauty in that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, ignorance is bliss in a lot of ways. I mean, and I was ignorant when I was a young runner. Oh my God, it's like, I remember after races, Vidge would be like, Coach Vidge, he'd be like, you know who you just ran with? I'm like, huh? And, so it's there's definitely something to say about that, and doesn't necessarily always help you, but I definitely benefited from that a lot early on, and I need to bring that back a little bit. I gotta turn my brain off a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a normal thing too with age. I think we start overthinking things a little bit more, and it's like, I mean, that's why being a child is like the most wonderful time of life. Not to say aging isn't a gift, but like you think back to your kids just like going out and running a mile or doing whatever. It's like they're not thinking about how it's going to feel or all those things. It's just like,
right.
It's like bringing back that like childlike nature to it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's good.
It's like, they're not worrying about how much carbon or how much foam's in their shoes. They're running barefoot around the block, and they're trying to race into the ice cream. Man, exactly. don't overthink it, you know? Gosh,
Totally.
I miss being a kid.
Oh my man, me too. I went for a run this morning at like 7, and my oldest son, he's 9. He gets up really early, like 5:30, and so and
Oh.
they don't go to school till 9. I was like, dude, come on, get up, let's go. And so, I mean, he didn't run with me, but he rollerbladed he did 4 miles with me, and I'm like, he
Oh my
just,
God.
and he just doesn't think about it. It's just
Yeah.
like, just carefree, and yeah, I miss it too. I really do. And I think having my own kids makes me like see it
Uh-huh.
even more, you know?
hmm So is rollerblading the new running, or is
Yeah, I don't
maybe?
know. I mean, he rollerblades a ton. I think rollerblading in general it's like coming back. You
Uh-huh.
know, I think it's a big thing these days. My oldest, he plays street hockey in his rollerblades and in the
Oh.
road all the time with his buddies. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, talk about, not that you want to talk about your kids working out, but like talk about a good freaking workout. I mean, and we live in a hilly area. On our run this
Oh
morning, we
my
were
God.
going up and down, all that like core strength. And
Mm-hmm.
these kids are they're just using their
Playing.
bodies. Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
playing. They're just
Uh-huh.
moving their bodies. But I mean, it's what we were created to do. So it's really fun to see my kids be active in that way, and it's just be a part of life, you
Oh,
know.
that's great. Yeah, that's really great. Oh,
One of my favorite things to do, for sure, is start my day moving with my kids.
moving.
Like, yeah, doing something
Mm-hmm.
out there with them. Hey, friends, a quick break here to thank Previnex for supporting this episode of the podcast. If you are looking for a delicious protein powder that is legit, vegan, ultra healthy, balanced protein, carbs, and fat with comprehensive, high quality micronutrients, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and more to help fuel your health. I love this protein powder. I'm actually drinking it right now. I went on a 7-mile run, and now I'm refueling with my Previnex protein powder. I just shake it up with some water and drink it. I think it's easy to let time get away from us after a run, and if I can just shake some protein powder up into some water and replenish quickly before I actually have a meal, that is a really easy way to make sure I'm not missing out on those benefits of the protein and carbs post-run. I actually just had a talk with one of my favorite sports dietitians about how important it is to get the protein and carbs back in your body quickly after a workout. And the other product that Previnex has that I really want to share is their Joint Health Plus, which is a supplement that provides protection and relief if you're having any kind of joint pain. Their ingredients are clinically proven to offer the most comprehensive and complete joint protection and relief on the market. I can't even tell you how many people have reached out and said I was skeptical, but I tried it and I can't believe the difference it made and how I feel. So the cool thing is they have a money back guarantee. So I would try it for 30 to 60 days before I question if it works or not, and really give it a chance and see what you think, because I believe it helps. I take it every single day. So go to Previnex.com, use the code ANOTHER, and that'll get you 15% off your order. That's Previnex.com. Use the code ANOTHER. That gets you 15% off your first order. And they also have an Immunity Health Plus that they recently launched. That's also a really great product. If you want to check that out, you can use the code Immunity15 for 15% off that if you've already used my ANOTHER code. All right, cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of my conversation with Robby Andrews. You mentioned Coach Vigilante. Tell me about your relationship with him, how long you've been working together, all that.
So Coach Vigilante, I call him Coach Vig. So he ran at NC State in the early '90s. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Let me go a little further back here. He's from Morristown, New Jersey, which is so that's another really fun connection. And it's actually the town Josette and I are going to get married in December.
Oh,
Morristown.
cool.
So that's pretty cool. Be fun for him to come back home. But so he ran in high school in Morristown, and Coach Wetmore from at Colorado coached him. Well, Vid said he would drive to Coach Wetmore's practices after his practices to get coached by Coach Wetmore, because I think Wetmore was at Bernard's or I forget exactly, but Wetmore just had this like stronghold on New Jersey running. But so then Vidge ran at NC State under Coach Raleigh Geiger, who's still there now. I saw him last week, a couple weekends ago at Virginia Tech, and then Vidge went to Texas, where he coached Leo Manzano and Jacob Hernandez. Oh my gosh, whole ton of All-Americans, ton of sub-4 guys. Darren Brown. I can't think of these other names. He had a really good steepler. So Leo made the Olympics in 2008, and then in 2012 he won his silver medal, but Coach Vidge wasn't working with him at that point. But then he went to Virginia in 2009, and he recruited me that year. It was a really cool sales pitch. So he calls me. He's like, "Hey, Robby, this is Jason Vigilante with the University of Texas. I'm going to Beijing with Leo." Which of course I was like, "Oh my God, that's great!" And he said, "I'll be back in a month. Don't commit anywhere." And this is like, July. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, no problem. Like, I'm not. Where am I going to commit to? Sure." So he calls me in August, and he said, "Hey, Robby, this is Jason Vigilante with the University of Virginia. How would you like to drive to school instead of fly?" And we hit it off like immediately. So I went to University of Virginia, and it worked out really, really well, really quickly. Once I signed my professional contract in 2012, we kept working together, and after that, then he got the job at Princeton, so he's at Princeton right now. Can't stay away from New Jersey for too long, and we've just kind of been doing it ever since. I did 1 year with New Jersey, New York with Coach Gags. Mm-hmm. And that was my time there was like invaluable. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about the sport. And so, yeah, Coach Vidge, he's just always really understood me as a runner. And I like to think because I'm such a simple person that I'm easy to understand, but he really understands me as a runner. And, he kind of brought me back to life in 2015, and the 3-year stretch of 2015, 2016, 2017 was like the 3 best years of my career, and that's when Coach Vidge and I were really, really humming on all cylinders. And even early 2018, before I got sick, things were just going really, really smoothly. And so he's and now that I'm down in Charlottesville, it's been tougher to overlap for sure. But he's been coaching me since 2009.
Wow.
So he knows me really well, and he knows Charlottesville as well, because it's such a coincidence that Josette's the Reebok Boston Track Club is in Charlottesville. Like I never thought I'd be back in Charlottesville, and the things you do for love. But he tells me to go do this hill, and I know exactly what that means, and he knows exactly what that means.
Yeah,
and,
that's cool.
Blah blah blah. And Coach Fox, Josette's coach, he's been so welcoming to me being in town, and he knows that all I want to do is help Josette be the best she can be. So if they have if their group, who's mostly marathoners, they got Graham Crawford. He thinks he's a 5K guy, but I think he's a miler. But and so whenever that we can overlap, we make it overlap. Coach Fox has been really welcoming with that. But it's just been a really fun 2 years, I guess, being in Charlottesville and being back to where I was in college. We still drive by everywhere, and I'm like, "Oh, that's where I got food once," and she's like, "Okay, no one cares." But so Coach Vidge is he's always been he's always been in my ear, and I really value a lot of everything that he's taught me, and our relationship really changed my life, so I'm forever grateful for that.
What were you sick with in 2018?
I had Lyme disease.
Oh, you did?
Oh my God. Yeah. It was, what a nightmare.
Really?
So this is a true story. So in June, I went over to Oslo to run the Oslo Diamond League. I wasn't in the Dream Mile, but I was in the 1500 against a a decently young Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And Chris O'Hare and I were both in there. And so Chris had won the British Championship in 2017, and I had won the U.S. title in 2017. So we looked at it as like, should we have been in the Dream Mile? Like maybe, you could make an argument. They wanted to put Jakob against the British and the American champion, and they wanted him to beat the two of us. I don't know if that's true or not, but it looked like that on paper.
Uh-huh.
And so I think he was honestly 17 at the time.
Wow.
And we were like, dude, we're not losing to this 17-year-old kid. So we sat on him for no joke, 1,400 meters. And Chris ended up winning, and I beat Jakob by like 0.01. Like we basically tied. And I wasn't even like especially pleased with the race. I'm like, I didn't close as well as I wanted to, whatever. But like we ran fine, and it was a ton of fun. And like, we were like, yeah, we beat the Norwegian on his home turf. And like, meanwhile, he literally led 1,400 meters of the race and set like the U18 world record, whatever he did. But so then 2 weeks later at the U.S. Championships, I don't even make it out of the first round. I think I get 5th or 6th in the prelim. And it's like, I'm not saying that a prelim is a gimme. I'm not saying that the guys I raced were bad by any means. It's just, I went in thinking I was going to win the meet again because I'd won a year ago. And now I'm 5th place in my prelim when the last 3 years I hadn't finished worse than 2nd in the final. So something was off. And then I went to Europe and I ran some like really, really lousy races. Like I think I ran like 350 in the 1500 and 152 in the 800. And, so like a month before that I ran 336 and it's like that something was wrong. So long story short, yeah, I was sick. And then to treat it, I avoided antibiotics to start because I was afraid they were going to make me even worse. And so I definitely didn't, I don't know if I handled the treatment the best way. Because then a year later in 2019, I had like a pretty bad relapse. And that's when I started the antibiotics with Dr. Mark Sivieri down in Maryland, who ran for GAGs at Georgetown. Actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really cool overlap there. But he was absolute genius and just treated me. He's a I forget the term for what kind of doctor he is, but he's he treats the whole body. He
like
doesn't.
An internist,
it's not like
or?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you anymore. But yeah, he's by no means like a Lyme specialist.
Sure.
But he was able to listen to my symptoms, what I was doing, whatever, and he was able to treat me and get me what I needed to get back on track. And since his treatment, I haven't even thought about the Lyme.
That's so good.
Dr. Sivieri, you're probably not going to listen to this, but thank you so much.
Send him the link.
All right, there you go. Dr. Siv, thank you so much.
Yeah. But with Lyme disease, it's kind of like a long-term thing, right? Like, do you have to does it pop? Do you have to wonder if it's going to pop up in 5 years, or not that you should worry about that, but is that what the deal is?
I don't know. There's been a good amount of runners who have had Lyme disease.
Really?
I know Drew Hunter. I think Drew Hunter's had it a couple times. I know Ben True's had it a couple times. Kind of those Northeast, Mid-Atlantic runners. It's just kind of common. And so I haven't even thought about it. Since I'm being honest, I haven't even thought about it. Like, sure, it's like if I get tired or something, it's like I'm like, oh man, is that Lyme? And then I'm fine. I don't know. I don't think so. It's only been 3 years now. But I'm kind of moving forward, assuming
good.
What I'm doing is it worked. And Dr. Siv, he gave me some I don't know if tips, but he gave me the tools to knock it out if I ever did feel So I'm really, really confident with that moving forward. And my whole family had it at one point. I think.
Wow.
Well, when I tested positive, that my sister had tested positive the year before, and then my mom got checked and my dad got checked, and literally all of us had it.
So same tick all over all of you.
We think it was the cats. We think the cats brought the tick in.
Ah,
But
damn
don't
cats.
don't tell my sister that. But yeah, so like my sister's been fine, my mom's been fine, my dad, everyone's been fine. And like
Yeah.
it's yeah, so I'm really, really confident moving forward.
Well, I think that's a really good mentality to have. My husband always tells me, because I'm kind of a hypochondriac with health stuff, he's always like, stop assuming things are wrong before you even know anything's wrong. Like, that is a terrible way to live. Like, so I love that your mindset is like, we fixed it and we're moving on.
Yeah, well, I mean, mom's got to be cautious, right? You know?
That's true. That's true. I love that. I love the story with Coach Vig. I think that it sounds like when he recruited you, it was like super casual too. Kind of like, hey, just hold on.
Gosh.
Just wait for me.
Well, man, Vig, he's amazing. You should get him on here. But
well, I was thinking that when you said that, because I was like, man, when I hear stories like that and like these stories just come out organically from guests like you, I'm like, there are just so many incredible people that aren't in the spotlight, you know, that are just doing their thing, that would be the most amazing interviews.
Yeah, I don't know if he's ever done an interview. It's like he's like, yeah, the guys ran well, you know, they work hard, blah blah blah, and it's like, man, Fitz, you're one of the best coaches in the world, and then you give yourself some credit here. But he so it was really cool. So what ended up being my freshman roommate, Brett Johnson, he's from New Jersey as well, and so we went 1-2 in our New Jersey State meet as juniors. And we thought we were like the coolest kids ever. And we were like walking on campus. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to run so well, blah, blah. We got like 50s on our first psych exam. And we're like, oh my God, we're not going to make it out of school.
We also have to do class.
But so yeah, Vig, we had an awesome recruiting class, and he just got some really good kids to come, and we just really bought into the program. And like that's what a lot of college coaching is you know, getting like-minded kids to come to a place and working together for a common goal. And he does a really, really good job of that. And he's at Princeton right now, and you know, they've won Ivy League titles for left and right, you know, the last several years. And that's Fred Samara, the head coach. He's the director. He's talk about amazing people. I think this is his 42nd year at Princeton.
Wow.
And, he was an Olympian decathlete with Bruce Jenner. Actually, he's Bruce Jenner's teammate in the decathlon. And so it's so many cool stories. But yeah, I'll let some of that stuff for Vig to talk about.
Do you think he'll do it?
He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy, but I'll definitely ask him.
Yeah, it's interesting to know what coaches, like. There's some coaches where I'm like, I feel like they would, and some, like, for years I wanted Jerry Schumacher on the podcast with Bowerman Track Club. Like, I mean, I gave up on that a long time ago, but like, there's just certain coaches that like aren't going to touch a mic, I feel like.
Oh man, you can't even like find a picture of Jerry on
right,
the internet.
Right.
He's so reclusive.
Exactly. No, for sure. Hey friends, quick break here. Did you know I have training plans on my website? They are for 14-week half marathon, 18-week marathon, and I put these together a couple years ago actually, and I'm just really proud of them. I think that they are designed really beautifully, and they have a nice base build at the beginning. Don't jump into anything too quickly. I'm super conservative on mileage. I don't make big jumps. And they also have videos that have strength and stretching routines that are super basic. If you're someone who's like, I don't want to deal with strength training, this is like the most basic thing you can do that I think everybody should do to work towards being injury-free and strong. And then you can build on those basic videos. But I think if you just start there, that'll at least give you a really great base. I'm actually thinking about creating some plans that are 10-day cycles, because that's typically what I tend to do. And I'm curious if people would be interested. These plans are classic 7-day cycles, because I know most people do need to do their long runs on the weekend. But if if you'd be interested in the 10-day cycle, let me know, because I'm really thinking about creating those. All right, so that's lindsayhine.com, and you can just go to the training tab. I actually threw up some 5K plans too. I just have a very beginner and a beginner intermediate 5K plan on there. They're $10. I thought about just making them free, but I thought people are more likely to execute if they put a little skin in the game. So if you know someone looking to train for their first 5K or get back at it, you could direct them to this 5K plan. You know, if you pay for something, you're more likely to use it and do it, right? So anyway, and I just want everybody to get moving. I'm super passionate about that. So you can check all that out at lindsayhine.com. All right, friends, enjoy the rest of my conversation with Robby Andrews. Well, okay, so what is life like in Charlottesville? I know you said you never thought you'd be back there, but like, do you think you guys will be there for a long time?
Man, that's a great question. Because we're gonna get married in December, and it's like we'd love to have a home, to be married in, and at some point start a family, and not in the next couple of years, but it's like you want to have a home base,
Right?
I'm not sure. I think we're really happy there right now, and Josette's her career's been, it's something that we both dreamed about happening, but to see it, to be able to hold it in our hands, it's like, oh my God, like you're actually doing it. Like this is the literal dream right now, sweetheart. So it's we're definitely not looking to change much. It's like her and Coach Fox and Coach Adam Smith. They have this great connection, and it's just working. It's really, really working, and it's a good system. Everything's great. Coach Fox has no problem when Josette and I go to Flagstaff, and it's like I text Coach Fox more than she does, letting him know how she does. And then when we're home, it's like it's the same thing. It's like he has no problem with us working together, and me kind of giving him the information, because she'll just say, yeah, I ran well today, and it's like, what does that mean? It's like from a coaching standpoint. So it's we got a really good system going right now, and Charlottesville somehow it turned into the running hub of that in Chapel Hill. It's like these college towns are just turning into these running hubs, but it's cool. And I know that Coach Fox does let Josette go on these training camps to Flagstaff, and I think we want to get to Boulder at some point. So it's I don't think there's anything wrong with Charlottesville, because we do get to go to these camps
To like altitude.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like you don't get stale of it. I think something to say, like, I remember talking to Andy Weeding once, and, he did 4 years of college in University of Oregon, and then he did like 8 years of Oregon Track Club after that. And he's like, yeah, I was just in Eugene, Oregon for 12 years. He's like, I just got a little bit stale, so it's sometimes change is good. Sometimes routine's really important, but, so all things in moderation, but it's Charlottesville, it's always a special place to me, and I love it. So it's cool for us to be there, and for Josette to like it as much as she does too.
How far are you guys? I know I saw you guys at the Sir Walter Mile here in Raleigh. Talked to Josette for a little bit. How far are you from Raleigh, Chapel Hill area?
I think it's like exactly 3 hours.
Okay.
We've gone to run Raleigh PT with Dr. Abby. I forget her last name, but we've gone there for treatment, and it was like a super easy drive. It's like just tell Josette to put the seat back, put her feet up, and I'm like, I got you, girl. Let's go.
Nice.
And my grandparents and my aunt and uncle, they live down in Pinehurst, so it's not too far either. It's for Thanksgiving we went down to my grandparents, and then we stopped up at American Tobacco Trail on the way up for Long Run, which was really cool.
Oh, fun.
So it's really not too far from Raleigh, which is nice.
I need to get some freaking work done. My Achilles are driving me crazy. So is that where I need to go run Raleigh PT?
Oh she will take such good care of you. Yes.
Okay. I'm like, when I went to run this morning, I was like, dude, you got to like slow your roll, because this is not feeling good. These hills, man, these hills here. It's like, and the neighborhood we live in is called North Hills, and it is like North Hills.
So it's a little on the nose there.
Yeah, it's like, it's so crazy. Well, I love that.
Oh my God.
Like, what you're saying about Charlottesville, like you can keep from getting stale because you'll go home to New Jersey. It's not like too much of a traveling issue. You can like go to Flagstaff or Boulder or whatever and like change it up. And, when I interviewed Amy Craig on this podcast and talking about starting her group out here with Puma, it's like, I just loved what she said. It's like, this is a place where like, if you are not a runner and you're part of that person's family, like you can still integrate into the community. Whereas like somewhere like a Flagstaff or a Boulder, not that you can't enjoy life there outside of running, but it's so running ingrained,
Right. Yeah. It's Flagstaff is, Flagstaff's amazing. I mean, and we stay with Matt Yano and his boyfriend Brandon, and they treat us like family. We have an amazing time when they're there and when we're there, and it's the community there is so welcoming. It's so great. But it's definitely a small town. I've never been to Boulder. Josette loves Boulder. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's in Charlottesville, there's tons of significant others on the Reebok team that they live there no problem. They do whatever they need to do, and I'm sure in Chapel Hill, Raleigh area, it's like a lot to do in the triangle, that's for sure.
Yeah,
so that's really cool that she said that. Amy and Alistair, they're wonderful people.
Yeah, I know. I need to interview some of their group a little bit now because I'm like literally local, so we can do it in person. I think that would be super fun.
Yeah, well, Taylor just had a great 3K, and Fiona had a nice half marathon at Houston. Yeah, and the Patrick Deaver, I think, had a good 3K in Boston. Yeah, I mean, they got a great group. It's going to be cool to see what they can do, and especially with Patrick Tiernan joining them now, it's going to be exciting.
Hey, let's hear your commentary on what Nick Willis just did this past weekend.
Oh man, that Nick! I've been a fan of Nick Willis since I was in high school. He's what like every runner dreams about doing. It's like you're championship racer, super consistent, like definition of what you want to be. And 20, I mean, I can't even, it's like Hobbs isn't even 20 years old.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So, and for him, Milrose, I just watched the very nice Track Club YouTube video, and he said how, not disappointed, but he was disappointed that he never won a Milrose mile. So for him to be able to turn that into this amazing accomplishment that I'm going to call 20 years sub 4 better than anyone Wanamaker mile. I'll go out there, and I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I'll go out there and say that. So for him to be able to turn Milrose, the Wanamaker mile, into what he did is that. People aren't going to forget that. And it's to be able to watch him in person, make his fourth Olympic games and we got to see Sierra, Lockie, and Darcy. It's like being his family. It's amazing what he's done with the sport and how he's truly made a career out of it. And it's like his life now. Now he's with Tracksmith, and he's helping other people realize their running dreams. So I think T-Mobile was John Legier. They just donate $25,000 to the track. It's just, that is seriously, well, I think it's what everyone dreams about doing, leaving the sport a better place than they found it and being able to have fun along the way. So it was really, really cool to be able to watch that. And, of course I see him after the race, and the first thing he says to me is, "Hey, nice, Josette ran amazing."
Aww.
I'm like, dude, come on, you're too good to be true. Nick, just class act, just from all the way back to 2004. It's to be able to, we're spoiled having him based in the U.S. It's really special. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, that's the cool. Yeah, we are spoiled because he's from New Zealand, so we get to kind of claim him as our own a little bit of in some ways.
He's a Michigan boy.
Yeah.
And, his wife went to Michigan, and so his we can claim him a little bit.
Yeah. He's been here long enough. Mm-hmm. You mentioned before the podcast, I was like, what do you like to do outside of running? You're like, well, but then you mentioned that you were just texting with your dad about his kids. Like, does he coach?
So he coaches, yeah. So he volunteers at where my sister and I went to high school in Manalapan, New Jersey. Um, and he also has his own private youth running club. It's called Gone Running in
Oh,
Manalapan, New Jersey, and
cool.
Manalapan and Princeton, New Jersey. So he has I don't know how many kids he has at any one time, but he's got this awesome little program. They have these like baby blue shirts, and like whenever you go to like a track meet around here, you can always just see them running around. You're like, oh yeah, Gone Running, Gone Running, Gone Running. So it's cool, and we always pick each other's brain because my dad coached me in high school, and my dad and he's picked Vidge's brain for so long, and I've been with Vidge for so long, and then I got great exposure from Coach Gag, and now I'm seeing Coach Fox's training. So like, I feel like I've got this like all this running stuff in my head, and so my dad, we always bounce ideas off each other, and it's been a lot of fun. And my sister still runs. She's a nurse anesthesiologist in South Jersey. Thank you, Kristen. And she was running fairly competitively. She ran 205 for the Open 800 a couple
Okay.
years ago,
Wow.
and I think she ran 424, 426 for the 1500. And she was a 400 hurdler in college. She went to St. Joe's in Philadelphia. Um, and then her senior year, they put her on the 4x8 and she split like 210 or something. And they're like, whoa, where'd that come from? It's like, well, I just like the 400 hurdles better. And then she moved up to the marathon for a little bit, or the half marathon. She
What'd she
just
run
loves
the
running.
marathon in?
Actually, I might have misspoke there. I don't know if she's run the marathon. I think she ran the half
The
marathon.
half marathon. Okay.
I don't know. I honestly don't even remember her time. I think she did like the Goofy run down in Disney.
Okay.
She's a Disney princess. But she just wanted like to convince her husband to take her to Disney. So um I don't remember what her half was, but her I think her 5K was 17:11
Oh gosh. Okay.
because she wanted to run under 17. Um and now this year anyway, so now this year she wants to try to run 16 minutes for the 5K.
Okay.
So
Are you coaching
between
her?
work, I'm coaching her. Yeah. So between my dad and me, we coach her, but I think she texts me for workouts a little bit more than my dad. But it's seeing Josette run 14:51, she's like, "Oh man, can I run 16 minutes?" It's kind of like, "Holy cow." So it's I think that's her big goal right now, and plus like it's just tough for her to get on a track most days, getting out of work and whatnot. So I think she's excited for the 5K, and put on a pair of super shoes, Adios Pro 2 or Takumi Sen, or whatever, and you feel like a new person.
We'll pause to say thank you to all the nurses and doctors and hospital staff. I saw you gave your sister a shout out there. So if you're listening and you're a nurse or a doctor or anybody that works at a hospital, thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Um, do you want to take your coaching? Like, do you want to like take that to another level? I know you're saying you're working with your sister, but like you've clearly like been
Yeah.
thinking about this.
uh yeah, so it's man, it's man, we're talking earlier about how your mind changes and throughout the years and whatnot. So when I went to school, college, um I studied to be a adapted physical education teacher because I wanted all I wanted to do was be a high school coach. Like that was like, you know, president of the United States, high school coach. So that's all I wanted to do. And then after I had the opportunity to keep running, I was like, oh man, like I'm a volunteer assistant at Princeton. Like maybe I could be a college coach. And now a couple years later goes by, I'm like, huh, Joe Boss coaches Emma, Kurt Huddle, he's involved with Molly. Um, you know, could I coach pros too? So I don't know if I don't I definitely want to coach or be involved in the sport in some way. Now whether that's I don't know if I would like to be an agent. I don't in general I don't know. I'm not a very good negotiator. I'm not good at that. So I'd love to be a coach, and help out some people, achieve the goals that they set out for themselves. That's it seems like the next natural thing. And I know Josette wants to be a coach, so
Oh, she
I
does.
feel like maybe we take the Marisa and Andy Powell route, and
Heck
just
yeah.
start a Josette can be the director all she wants, and I'll just coach whoever you tell me to. But yeah, definitely I would love to. It's something I really enjoy, and yeah, who knows? It's I'd like to be competitive runner for
Right.
couple more years. It's like now that you're talking about your Achilles. It's like my Achilles was killing me for like 4 or 5 years, and like I had surgery on it 2 years ago, and like now I'm like, oh man, my Achilles is finally good. Like now let's get going.
Get
Let's do
after
this.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go do
so
it.
so who knows? But yeah, at some point I'd love to be still in the sport and to some capacity.
Well, you mentioned like you at the beginning, like with Josette, like giving her advice and her taking that advice and it working and seeing her, like really tear it up over this past year. You take your own advice?
I need to start doing that.
Yeah. What is the
Yeah, it's
advice?
it's it's funny. It's like it's so simple. It's like, you know, don't overthink it. Like we
Yeah.
were just saying,
Yeah.
that's the number one. So yeah, I need to take my advice with that. And the other biggest thing that I tell her that she does really, really, really well is kind of shrinking the race down to whether it's 3 or 4 people in the race. And now it's not like we're only picking and choosing who we count in the race. It's more like, okay, if you end up in fourth place after 200, it's like great. No one passes you. Like just the race is now only 4 people big. Like just keep it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of worrying about, it's like, oh, who's behind, like what's everyone doing, like, man, there's 14 Olympians in this race, like blah, 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 or there's this medalist, blah blah blah. It's like, hey, if you're up there, great, that's it, that's all that matters. Don't That's all you got to think about. And if you're further back, then just take it little chunks at a time. And it's like you go around one person, you go, and so it's she does that so well. Her race on Saturday was like, I was saying this afterwards. I'm like, that's how I envision I ran every race I ever ran. It's like you go around one person every 400, and then you sit on the leader's shoulder and you try to kick them down. It's like not a ton of times do you lose races by doing that. It's just Ellie's just, she's your American record holder. Like it's there's not a ton of people that can beat her right now, but it's like if you keep doing that tactic and you keep running with that confidence, you're going to be just fine. So I'd say those are the two biggest pieces of advice is don't overthink it, and just really shrink the race down to make it more manageable for you.
Shrink the race down. I like that. Listen, I messaged Josette after the race and I told her that we were.
Oh no.
I was like, hey, I'm interviewing Robby. Do you have a fun question to ask him? Do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't. I've lost sleep over what she was going to ask.
Well, we were going to do a follow-up question, so this is not a serious question, but she just wants to know how many Pokemon you've caught this week.
Oh man, I just got the new Pokemon Legends of Arceus, which is I guess to answer the first question you asked me, that's how I spend my time these days. And I'm not going to tell her because she's been asking me all week, and I'm not telling her. But it's enough to keep me occupied while she's watching my 1,000-pound sisters and JD vlogs on YouTube. So
what's the YouTube?
There you go.
What's the YouTube?
She watches JD vlogs. It's this couple in Phoenix, Arizona, who they just pull pranks on each other, and they were in Flagstaff on her birthday this year when we were there, and I sent them a message to see if they could like surprise her, and they didn't answer. They have like 8 million followers or something.
Yeah, but if they only knew.
Yeah, if they only knew it was Josette Norris, like
yeah.
But yeah, so they have this adorable little golden doodle named Topper, and like they just yeah, she likes watching them, and that's her version of me playing Pokemon.
That's really funny. It's like I don't do the YouTube thing. Like I don't ever watch anybody's YouTube, but like clearly lots of people are doing it because this is a massive industry.
So the amount of rabbit holes you can go down on
Oh,
YouTube, it's like actually, you know, a quick aside.
yeah, go.
The fact that like they're infinities, there's like different some infinities are bigger than others. That like blows my mind. But the amount of videos on YouTube is the biggest infinity of them all.
Which is why I don't do it. And also why I don't do TikTok, because I'm like, can just see the trap you get into, and you just go and you just keep going and you just dig, and then you realize it's been an hour, and I mean, I waste enough time on Instagram that I can't do one more thing.
It's amazing. I think they posted last year that there was more screen time on TikTok than Instagram or YouTube.
Do you
Like,
guys do TikTok?
no, Josette started one with her teammate Tori Gerlach, but I think that dissolved pretty quickly. And so it's funny you mentioned the 1 hour thing on TikTok. So the first night we downloaded it, all of a sudden 3 hours passed, and it
Yeah.
was 2 a.m, and I'm like, okay, we're done with this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing this. But now she wants to get more into the reels.
Yeah,
And
stupid
it's just
reels.
it's just tough when it's like if I'm, especially with like running
Yeah.
ones, at least if I'm with her, I'm either running with her,
Mm-hmm.
pacing her, or doing my workout, or I'm timing her. So it's like we need another person, and
Totally.
we can't hire anybody. But if anybody wants to come and film Josette do running, then you're more than welcome to come to Charlottesville.
I could guarantee there's probably some high school girls that would be like fangirling it up and be like, heck yeah, I'll video it.
Oh my God, that would be Josette's Super Bowl. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you. I mean, I can't even count the amount of times that, because I like have an Instagram account and do all those things too. And I'm like, I get back from a run and I come to my husband and I'm like, can you just take my picture really quick? And he's like, oh, like he hates it, but he knows like you got to put content out. You got to stay, you got to like, content. Yeah. And yeah. Oftentimes like I usually have something I want to say or share, and you have to have a picture to accompany it,
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what you should do. Have her go to the local high school and be like, I'm hiring an intern to videotape my reels.
Oh man, we can pay you in
coaching advice.
Coaching advice. There you go.
That's it. That's an even trade. That's a very even trade. That's good.
If you don't PR, you get your money back. Yeah,
that's right. And you can go on an easy run with Josette once a month. There's the payment. I love it. Okay, well, what is something professionally or personally that you would like to do that you haven't done yet?
In general, I'd say I'm like really, really happy with my professional career. I made a world championship final. I made an Olympic Games. I won a U.S. title.
NCAA champion. I know that goes way back, but
NCAA champion indoors and out. I feel like in general, I'm really happy with what my career is and has been up until this point. And of course, what runner doesn't want a little bit of hardware to go along with that? Like to watch Josh Kerr get third place in the Olympics this past summer, where in the 1500, where it's like he was an NCAA guy. It's like he was. You can see yourself in him. He ran in the NCAA and he found success early, and then he continued to grow up the next couple of years and ends up with this awesome 3:29 1500 meter PR and a bronze medal. And it's like, that's what I wanted to do. And like you see Matthew with his freaking trophy filled hardware closet. He's got a couple world medals and Olympic gold medal. It's like, and Leo got a silver medal at the Olympics, and I'm good friends with Clayton Murphy. Clayton's got a bronze medal. Evan Jager's got a silver medal. It's like, I would have really, really loved to get on an international podium. And I don't know if time's running out for me. It's like when in 2016, Nick Willis got bronze in the Rio 1500. I forget. I think he was 32 or 33. So it's not impossible. But then you start comparing yourself to Nick Willis, which is hard to do. But I'd say that's kind of the last kind of bucket list item for me is to get a global medal. You know, crazier things have happened, and you know, with the World Championship this summer in Eugene, and you know, a couple World Championships in Olympics next couple of years. I feel like if I can hit the timing right, you never know. And but that's kind of my last bucket list item on my professional career. I'd say I'm not one to go for records and such. So I'm not looking for, that's never excited me, like an American record or something like that. But I've always really valued championship racing. So for me to have some sort of medal would be like, you know, that'd be about it for me.
I think you should own it. I think that you're on the up and coming off that, you know, little stretch of sickness and injury, and you're back. You're just getting your head in the right place. I think you should own it confidently. I love it.
Oh, thanks, Lindsay.
What about personally, outside of running?
Oh,
I know you don't do anything but run. But no.
Yeah, I'd love to catch them all. You know, that's about it for me. I guess personally, I just, you know, now it's still kind of relates to running, but it's like, you know, personally, I just want to set Josette up to be the best runner that she can be. And you know, she's like obsessed with babies. Like she loves babies. Like Lindsay Sharp and Andy Bouchard just had a baby. Kyle Merber and his wife Patricia just had a baby. Genevieve Genevieve Gregson and Ryan Gregson just posted that they're expecting. Molly's expecting. You know, she's like, I can't wait to see all these babies. And like I know she's going to be an incredible mother whenever the time comes. So I just want to have the best house, nest, whatever it is possible for her and her kid. And it's that starts with making Josette be the best runner that she can be. So for me, that's kind of all I'm looking to do is, you know, it's funny. I think Emma Coburn posted a story a couple of weeks ago of like Joe watching a seminar on like collagen loading or something. And she's like, what the heck? How come you're not watching collagen loading seminar? I was like, oh my God, I need to get better at this. We gotta get going to the nitty gritty. So, it's funny. It's cool to have people like Emma and Joe to, you know, literally look up to, you know, and like, you know, cool. Kudos for Emma for posting that out there. You know, it's like, but yeah, you know, so there's always something you can be working on. And for me, I want to, be the best coach, be the best partner, be the best support person that I can be. And that's probably that's, you know, whatever that means, like as a goal. That's what I want to, that's what I want to do.
Josette, when I talked to her at Sir Walter, I think the first thing she said to me was like, oh my gosh, how are your boys? Like she just, you know, like you can tell when kids. Yeah, you can tell when someone's into kids. And I think that's really special. If you guys lived closer, I'd invite you over for dinner and you could really get a good taste of a house full of kids.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's thank you very much for the offer. I wish we were closer. Yeah. No, I'd like to make dinner for you guys. I'm kind of in charge of the cooking in the house.
Oh, you are?
Oh yeah. So I'd love to do that for you guys. But it's like usually whenever we come home from a run or a double or whatever, it's like Josette, get in the shower, get in the Normatex, whatever you got to do. I'm making dinner when you get out.
Oh, dream.
You'll be fed.
That's amazing. I always say one of the best things I ever did was marry someone who likes to cook. It is a true gift. My husband cooks most of the time here too, and it is a gift. So I'm telling my boys, I'm like, guys, you gotta pay attention to what Dad's doing over here.
Help Dad in the kitchen, please.
Yeah, this is how you learn, because one day you will make someone very happy.
Well, it's funny because some people view cooking as like a chore, you know, and some people view it as like, oh, it's fun. I like to do this.
It's like an art.
Yeah, you know, and like Josette doesn't view it as a chore, but she just, you know, I really enjoy it. So like for me, it's fun, and I'm like, no, get out of here. I'll do this, and I'll like do some not even fancy stuff. I just like, you know, I like having fun with it. So it's we make a good team, and she loves to eat. So whatever. I don't know if she's ever said, oh, that didn't taste good. So it's that makes it easy.
That's awesome. What's the most recent book you've read?
So the one that I continually come back to is The Alchemist by Paul Coelho. it's like, it's not, mind bending or anything of the sort, but I feel like I learn something new about myself every time I read it. But aside from that, the movie Dune just came out with Timothy Chalamet, and that's a book from the '60s from Frank Herbert. It's like a sci-fi. It's like they people argue it inspired Star Wars, but that was like one of the best books I ever read. Dune. It was really cool, and the movie did it justice. So I was really happy with that. I remember we went on like opening night, and I got this freaking gallon of popcorn, gallon of soda, and I just nerded out while like Josette was asking me like, "Who's that? What's that? Who's that?" So Dune, and that's a trilogy, I think. So that's another cool one. But yeah. So in case you can't tell, I'm a big sci-fi, I like distracting myself with stuff. So it's Harry Potter, whatever, I'm a big fantasy guy.
I'm gonna read I've never read Harry Potter, which I know is kind of weird.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I tried to watch the movie one time. I think I was like,
tisk, tisk.
I know. And I'm not into that stuff really, but anyway, I'm into reading chapter books with my kids at night now. Like we're one chapter away from finishing this Hardy Boys book, which is funny because Hardy Boys is like
Hardy Boys.
What is that? The 70s? I don't know. They're so old. But they love it. And it's really nice actually because my youngest, he's 3. Obviously it's too advanced for him, but he just kind of falls asleep as I'm reading it. And then the big boys really, they're into it. They're into it, this mystery. So anyway, I think I'm going to try Harry Potter next because that is a book like I would also be interested in. I haven't read it yet.
Well, and you can probably stretch that out over like 3 or 4 years between all 7 books.
Totally. I know it's going to be a feat just to get through one.
Like, yeah, your son's gonna be graduating college, and you're still gonna be like,
we're on the
hey,
fourth book, third book, whatever it is. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Did you by any chance see Eric Swinski over the summer had a custom pair of spikes with Harry Potter?
No,
theme?
I didn't see that.
Oh, they were so cool. They had a bunch of stuff in it, and they ended up getting ripped in the first race he ran in them, of course. But yeah, they were so cool. And Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter is, it's Harry Potter. Just commit to it.
All right, I'll commit.
You won't regret it. And then you can reward yourself with the movie every time you finish a book.
All right. That's what I'm going to do next. That's the next one. All right, what's your last message to leave with the audience today?
I would say this is what I've been telling myself lately. It's just, believe in yourself and enjoy what you're doing, and this isn't my message, but Ajay had an awesome post. Ajay Wilson had an awesome post yesterday about, you pick how you define success, and lean into it. And I that resonated really, really hard with me. And, we're talking about a global medalist, someone who like the epitome of success. And so for her to say something like that is it's really cool. And I think it can help a lot of people. So, you define success and just lean into it with all you have, but believe in yourself. That's my biggest thing is believing in yourself and enjoying what you do. So that's what I'll leave you all with.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important point that you brought up, because the world, especially like social media, podcasts, like everything you're inputting into your brain every single day is really noisy. And you can like get stuck on comparing what you're doing, like success wise, to what someone else has done. And it just it can really overtake your brain. So I love that she says like you define what your success is, not the world. The world doesn't define your success. It's you. It's what you define it as. So that's a really good message.
So a cool story with that is exactly 12 months ago, Josette said to Coach Fox that her goal was to make the Olympic trials final in the 5K and get top 8. And fast forward 6 months later, she made the Olympic trials final and got 8th place in the Olympic trials final. And all of a sudden, that was a huge failure.
Yeah.
And if you take it into context, it's like wow, you did exactly what you wanted to do. And it's like, yeah, of course you're disappointed, whatever. But like at the same time, like think about that. We thought that was a stretch of a goal, and now you're like devastated that you did that you achieved it. Not even that you missed it, that you achieved your goal. So it's just really important to like keep that in mind. It's like you control that, and you can really see how far you go when you think like that. So it's really cool for Ajay to speak up about that. She's another Jersey girl, so it's I remember watching her in high school. Yeah, she's been amazing for a long time. But anyhow, yeah, it's man, Lindsay, this was so nice. Thank you so much for the chat, and I hope you guys got something out of it. But this was thanks for letting me share some of my stories, share some of the last couple of years. I remember Josette absolutely loved coming on here. So
so fun.
Thank you for the invitation. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you two are both super fun. I know you're probably not going to come back to Raleigh for the Sir Walter Mile because it's like, is it around the World Championships stuff?
I feel like generally it's like that first week of August. Yeah. So actually, it's not. I think the Worlds are in July this year. So
okay. Hey, well, if you guys come back, we'll have to actually connect. When Sir Walter this year, I had literally just moved to Raleigh like 4 days or something ridiculous before, and I just showed up and I was like, I didn't even really know about the race or anything. But if you guys come back this year, we'll have to connect in person for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's really not too far. We go visit my grandparents whenever we can. So we always try to make a stop in Raleigh.
It's an excuse to do that too.
Exactly. So I know we'll connect with some.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Robby. Have a great rest of your day. Tell Josette we said hello.
I will. Yeah. She had a workout this morning. She's getting worked on right now. But thank you so much, Lindsay. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye, Robby. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Thanks, Robby, for coming on the show. Check Robby out on Instagram. He is RA_Andrews over there. And you can find me personally on Instagram. I am Lindsay Hine 626. Give me a follow because I've been doing some really fun Instagram lives over there. We actually have one coming up this Monday with Lindsay Flanagan, who just placed 5th at the New York City Half Marathon, and she is on her way to race the Paris Marathon. So it was super fun to catch up with Lindsay on Instagram Live. We're going to be throwing that up on the podcast feed this coming Monday as well. We're kind of doing some bonus episodes just for fun. You can also find me on Twitter at Lindsay Hine and Facebook. I'll have another podcast with Lindsay Hine. We have a group there as well with lots of great conversations, and we'd love to have you join us there. Friends, thanks for being here. Good luck if you're doing a race this weekend. Have a nice Friday, a wonderful rest of your weekend. And as always, we'll see you next Friday.